I challenge you to listen to the end of this podcast without switching tabs or pulling out your social media reels, otherwise known as second screening. A study conducted by Alexander Simon et al. Found that children have an attention span of 29.61 seconds and that young adults have an attention span of 76.24 seconds. And they did this by measuring the attention span using a metric of quantifying the maximum amount of time a participant continuously maintained an optimal in-the-zone sustained attention state while performing a continuous performance task. Hi, my name's Ahana Wali, and I understand that it's no secret how overconsumption of social media is bad. It's all being preached on the same platforms that are actively taking advantage of your attention and your time. I spoke with Dr. Amrita Subramanian, a professor from UPenn's Organizational Dynamics program and a highly accomplished founder of a global firm focused on post-disruptive growth. And she understands this too.
We live in a world from morning to night. We are screen to screen to screen to screen to screen. And in between we see a human face, right? With so much digital data and stimulus that is anticipated, unanticipated. And now I'm going to talk of attention and stimulus because that's where the expense happens. Attention is the ability of the mind to concentrate for good decision making. Yeah, that's a good scenario. But if I'm careless, it's like having billions of dollars worth attention and wasting billions of dollars, not knowing what I'm doing while I'm scrolling. Because social media is a stimulus, right? It stimulates our mind. We know about the dopamine and serotonin and all of that. So we know that bit. What we don't know is that the technology that is social media is called a persuasive technology. The technology is designed with only one goal. You do not give up.
I ask you now to think about this. How many times a day do you reach for your phone? How often do you find yourself scrolling mindlessly even when you know you should be doing something else? You are not alone. According to an APA article written by Tori DeAngelis, the average teenager spends upwards of 4.8 hours a day on screens, and social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube account for 87% of their attention spent online.
Technology is not meant to be, injected and inserted into my cranium. Technology is meant to be of use to me. We are not supposed to be human batteries to technology. It's the other way. And when we are unable to regulate, we make poor decisions. For instance, let's take research. For instance, those who have unplugged from social media for, say, a period of 2 weeks, report higher appreciation of life, better possible use of the opportunities that life brings, better relationships and connections, feeling mental well-being and seeing it in their body. Overall, being satisfied with life's challenges and gifts. Just 2 weeks of regulated social media. So all I'm saying is it is important to consider how do we create boundaries, even if the world has legitimized that it is the norm.
So, what's happening with our brains? It's a complex picture, but the science is becoming clearer and clearer with more research as the years go by. Episode 225 of Speaking with Psychology with Gloria Mark PhD talks about how sleep debt and switch cost are two essential consequences of mismanaged attention span. Sleep debt is the accumulation of the loss of sleep, and this podcast of Gloria Mark helped to understand that we know that the greater the sleep debt, the shorter the attention span. And what do people do when they have a lot of sleep debt? They tend to spend more time on lightweight activities like social media scrolling. It's because they don't have the resources to focus and do hard work, and they're going to end up doing what's easiest based on the amount of resources they have available, which is, just talking about the fatigue that's taken over them. And then for switch cost, it's like this. Every time you switch your attention, you have to reorient your brain to that new activity, the new thing that you're paying attention to, and that process takes a little bit of time. So, if you're taking like a math test first period in school and your mind is already in a state of focus and some stress, then the bell rings and everyone's leaving the class and you got to get up and reorient your brain for the next class's content. And then that process takes some time, especially after being pushed into that cycle multiple times in the day for every class in the schedule and then in the same week for every day in the schedule. Our brains are not designed to handle multiple streams of information simultaneously. Instead, we rapidly switch between tasks, which is a process that comes at a cost. Our working memories, which is like a mental sketchpad that we use to hold information and solve problems, gets overwhelmed. Decision making becomes impulsive and less effective, and then our ability to retain information and learn new information plummets.
What do you think are the evolutionary or historical perspectives on attention span? Like, has it always been this challenging for students, people to maintain focus, or there's specific factors in the modern era environment that we have now that has exacerbated the problem?
Wow. I have fantastic research. I'm going to nerd out for 10 seconds. Okay. Fantastic research. Okay. So the first bit is there was this gentleman called Alvin Toffler, and he wrote a book called Future Shock, Third Wave. Yes. So Future Shock was a book that is about futurism. It looks at future trend, but it was written 1960s. So that tells us that the mind is not a supercomputer, but the demands on it have become so accelerated the world over, not just the students. It has become so accelerated, and technology, which is a means to ease life, is also the cause for creating layers of stresses on us when, and this is my caveat for everyone, when the technology controls life instead of them using technology to better their lives. When we are unable to make the choice to say, look, I'm the master of my mind. I'm supposed to be, yes. I'm the master of my mind. But if I'm a servant of my mind, then my mind can run me ragged. And then I can cry helpless and say, oh, Ahana, I can't control my mind. And I don't know what my mind does.
But here's the good news. Our brain is remarkably adaptable. Neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to rewire itself, means that we can regain our focus. It takes effort, but it's possible. So, what can we do? It's not about quick fixes or medication, it's about conscious behavior change. You gotta start by acknowledging the problem. Why are you going online so much? Oftentimes, the answer is a form of escapism from the hard life stuff that everyone's gotta deal with today. So, you can talk to yourself about the problems, why you are allowing yourself to grow so distracted, and then you can take some baby steps by tracking your screen time, being honest with yourself about how much time you're losing to these distractions, turning off your notifications, designating specific times for checking social media, and then, most importantly, engaging in activities that require sustained attention, like reading, playing a musical instrument, spending time in nature, because these practices can actually help to boost the neurotransmitters that strengthen the neural pathways associated with focus.
And what I'm noticing in the trend across the world, Ahana, and I hope it brings some optimism to you, is that very many of your generation, my generation coming in future, have become aware that it is not healthy to be controlled by technology.
Reclaiming our attention is not just a personal responsibility, it's a societal imperative. We need to have a conversation about the role of technology in shaping our minds, and we need to demand that tech companies will design their products with our well-being in mind, not just engagement metrics, to garner the most number of profits. Because we need to educate our kids about the science of distraction and empower them to make informed decisions about their technology usage. So, the next time you reach for your phone, ask yourself this: am I in control, or is my phone controlling me? The science of distraction is real, but so is the power of the human brain. So let's choose to reclaim our focus one intentional moment at a time.